So I'm sure we've all experienced a blackout sometimes in our lives. Maybe it was during a heavy storm and before you knew it, the lights were out. As a kid, it can even be kind of exciting. Luckily, the power always comes back on eventually. But what if something big happened? Immediately after you first lose power, things would be fine. It would be just like any other power outage people have ever experienced. You would need to rough it a little bit, but surviving would be no issue. So after days start to pass, people would begin to see the effects. Those that would still be able to manage would be the ones who were prepared for such an event. Stockpiled food and water would easily be able to allow people to last a week without power. Those who aren't so prepared would need to find a place to get food. Maybe a local grocery store would still have items left on the shelves, but it wouldn't last very long. Those who have power generators running will soon discover that it is far too expensive and impractical to maintain. Governments, however, will need to use generators to power radio towers, some mobile towers, and other telephone exchanges. So as the time for the blackout gets longer and longer, the more unrealistic it is to happen in the real world. A blackout lasting this long could only be caused by a powerful solar storm, but is super unlikely. So by week 4, panic would start to set in. Most people's reserve supplies would begin to run out, and they would need to find a way to get clean water and food. Hunting is of course an option, as well as finding a freshwater reservoir and boiling the water to filter it. But no matter what, people would start to die in huge numbers by this point because so many rely on medical care that would start to become more difficult to keep up without power. Neighbors and relatives would need to band together for survival, using whatever skills the groups have to hunt and stay alive. Winter months would be especially difficult without working heaters, stoves, and eventually gas-powered vehicles, making organized groups even more vital. So this is the absolute worst case scenario, a global blackout lasting a year or more. This would have absolutely catastrophic effects on the population and life as we know it. Surviving this long would be very difficult because all the grocery stores, gas stations, and any shops that sell items people would use would be empty, completely looted of anything that has potential value. Some estimates go as high as 90% of the population dying off. Almost no government facilities would still be operating at this point. Aside from a bunker for officials to live in, hospitals, clinics, and government offices would all be closed. It would truly be survival of the fittest. You see, we unknowingly rely on power for so many aspects of our life.